Jonathan Gannon being interviewed. Hey, away we go. The Friday edition, Mr. Irrelevant. Alex Strouf, Josh DiMaggio, Will Sommers, Hunter Vaughn with you. Good to be back on this Friday because I got a couple tweets, comments, and texts. Well, not texts. On the text line, I got a couple texts, not personal texts. Multiple people thought yesterday was Wednesday. So I got a couple different people, and already in the YouTube chat today, Dr. Denver Dan, Giuseppe Joseph, will say, hey, I thought yesterday was Wednesday, and I was like, where the hell's the show? It's just kind of been one of those weeks, man. I feel like it's been a month this week with the Freddie Peralta news, with the Giannis stuff, with the Packers and Hafley and DC coordinator interviews. It just feels like this week's been taken forever. Now it's like negative 75 degrees outside. So at least here in Milwaukee it is. Wherever you're located, probably also cold. But good to be with you on this Friday. Whoa. Joshy, are we beefing? Are we good?
No.
Nothing abnormal.
Just a regular level of beef that permeates from me to you.
Okay. So you actually just dislike me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very healthy.
Glad we're on the same page. Yeah, but here's the thing.
Way to not beat around the bush.
He's not disrespectful most of the time.
That's also not true. It was just the funniest answer.
All right, whatever, dude. Whatever. Good to be with you guys. Brad Nortman will join us in about 15 minutes, as he does every Friday, at least through the Super Bowl. I don't know. We'll see if we can make him agree to a contract to just join us every Friday. I like having an adult in the room that's not Josh. Josh thinks he's the adult in the room. He's not actually the adult in the room. Will, are you about to say you're the adult in the room?
I was going to say I can work on the contract.
I believe you, actually.
I can do the wording on that.
You might be yeah. We're going to pay him $0.
Yes, but I'm not going to phrase it like that.
Okay, how are you going to phrase it?
That he will be potentially compensated at a later date.
Oh, that's smart, actually. Potentially.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I like that.
It's an incentive-heavy
let's dive
deal.
into... Yeah, right. No signing bonus either. Let's dive into some of the stuff going on in Green Bay, including assistant coaches. An interesting article from Pete Doherty in the Press-Gazette and Gannett earlier this morning that I know Joshy found interesting. I found it super interesting because it goes into it goes into the Justice Mosqueda article that we discussed a little bit last week, which was the Packers, number one, have the least experience of any playoff team in terms of assistant coaches, right? The least NFL experience. They haven't coached that much, right? And all of the internal promotion that Matt LaFleur is so fond of, specifically at the position coaches, not necessarily the coordinators. Those have typically been external hires outside of Stanovich. But a lot of the assistant coaches, right, like Sean Mannion, for example, he was with the team 1 year, got promoted to quarterbacks coach after Tom Clements retired. Luke Butkus is an internal promotion when he became the offensive line coach. It's just something that LaFleur has typically done. Now, I don't think that's bad from a culture standpoint, but I think it's bad from an experience standpoint and an ideas standpoint. I think the outside hires are important, and it seems that's likely the way the Packers will go at defensive coordinator. But the thing I found interesting in terms of Doherty's article was him directly refuting Mosqueda's claim that they just don't pay coaches that well. And it seems like, well, number one, we already knew. One we did know was Rich Bisaccia is the highest paid special teams coordinator in the league. He makes about $2 million a year. At least that's when it was initially reported. We find out this morning that Jeff Hafley last season, the 2025 season, made about $4 million, which I think is roughly middle of the pack in terms of the National Football League at DC. Upper half. So they pay their coaches, at least their coordinators, well.
Now.
Yeah.
But
it could still be better, no?
I think so. The reason this article exists is because I believe for a long time, justice and the way the Green Bay Packers approach hiring assistants was true. They were cheap. They tried to hire within. They tried young guys. The reason the Green Bay Packers ended up with Joe Barry was likely in part due to them not offering enough money for the other guys to truly lure them into the position. Because if we remember, and now it's been tried to be denied, but Jim Leonard is quoted as saying they were talking numbers about figuring out a contract. Jason has also alluded to on Jen Gabe and Chewy that there were probably, most likely, other people offered the job before Joe Barry was. What the Packers are doing right now is trying to correct the record. They are trying to get rid of their old reputation. They understand that prior to probably the Rich Bisaccia hire, Matt LaFleur probably had a conversation with Mark Murphy like, we can't keep doing this. We can't keep offering low amounts of money for these people we want if we want to be a successful franchise. And it seems like since that point, things have improved. You just look at Rich Bisaccia, you look at Jeff Hafley, you look at DeMarcus Covington, you look at Derek Ainsley. Like, these are all highly sought after guys that are being offered higher level jobs. And the Packers had never done things like that.
Yeah.
That hadn't been the MO in Green Bay for a long time. So I think what they're doing is being a little dishonest and saying, no, we paid top flight, while ignoring just 4 years ago that was definitely true.
Right.
So I think on both hands, both Justice and, let's be honest, Pete Doherty's articles from the Packers. Where else would they get?
Well, right. I mean,
Where else
he
would
obviously has the sources there, of course.
Right. But where else would you get Jeff Hafley's contract number? Do you think Jeff's just...
No, Jeff's been a little busy this week, I would argue.
Pete, I make $4 million a year, in case you were wondering. So, like that, and those contracts are numbers we almost never hear about.
Right.
Like a DC's contract level or his pay is almost never said out loud. The only reason Bisaccia was because his agent wanted to say, hey, I got my guy the most money here.
Yeah.
And it's pretty rare to hear that. So on one hand, I think I see right through what the Packers are trying to sell us. On the other hand, I'm also happy they've put those days behind them of underpaying, because let's be honest, and if you talk to Chewy or you hear him talk about the Packers, they had perceived for a long time where it's a privilege to be a member of the Green Bay Packers, and you should be excited to be here.
There's still that perception to a point.
Yes, but they would then in turn offer you a lower amount than you would get like on the open market.
And I'd be curious, to your point on that, Joshy, what LaFleur's number is, because we don't know yet.
Yeah, I think the 15 million number is probably where we're at.
I would guess it's a little bit above Ben Johnson, just because he's more proven. But that said, what did he say when he was asked what it's like to be the coach of the Green Bay Packers after the season ended? Well, it's the greatest organization in professional sports. It's such an honor to work here. And Hafley said something similarly before he ultimately accepted the head job in Miami. But I think it's fascinating.
I have it on good authority. When they bring alumni around, they don't do that for free. I do have it on good authority that the number that existed 20 years ago is the same number today.
You have it on good authority. I wonder who your source is on that one.
Well, it's more than one.
Could be anybody.
It could be anybody.
Keep up the good work, Josh.
It's just how the Packers do it.
As we know, Josh, not only a newsbreaker, just like his best friend Adam Schefter, but secondly, he's got a lot of connections to former Packers.
Keep up the good work, Josh.
Yeah. Not a lot, but
2.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe 3.
There's a handful out there.
Who you've gone over this subject with. Joshy, have you ever thought about being an investigative journalist? Sports journalist specifically?
No. Okay. That's not really.
Joshy Torrey?
Yeah, right. I would love for or Joshy Mosqueda. Like, I would love for Joshy to break down something on the show this summer. Just like, hey, here's what I got. Here's what I got for you guys.
I love Josh, but trying to read through his text sometimes in our group chat, his editor would have to get paid so well.
Oh, he'd need an editor.
And
he'd need an editor.
Very well paid.
I don't know if Will would be.
Well, the thing is, the phone is different. Like, if I type out a professional email, I can do it.
Yeah, that's still not. That's still not risk averse of typos, though.
Yeah, on occasion, but like it's like 90% accurate. Also, my spacebar stopped working. That's a real.
Oof.
It shouldn't say fully stopped, but it doesn't work every time I press it. So I'll like type something out and I'll look down and I'll have 3 words jammed together and be like, "What the heck?"
We've stumbled into something great right there. I'm glad I brought that up. All right, maybe that's not in your future. So, okay, I want to get something off my chest, and then I want to hit something I read on ESPN.com before Brad joins us. And also, I didn't text Brad today, so hopefully he just remembers to join us.
Oh, great.
Will, you want to shoot Brad a text? Just make sure he's still going to join us in 5 minutes.
No, let's see if he. Yeah.
Because if he doesn't remember, we got to give him a hard time.
Of course.
This is like the test when you put the $1 bill in the back of the playbook. See if he still shows up.
Or the test that I think it was 3rd grade. that the teacher made clear and put on top of it, said it out loud, and then put it at the top of the test that this is a quiz, and make sure you read through every question before you begin answering.
Oh, and then the last question is you just stand up when you read this question, and you don't have to fill it in.
Yes, sign your name, turn the piece of paper over, and put your head down. And a lot of people were furiously writing down all the answers.
I was that kid.
Yeah, of course.
Which shouldn't be shocking to you.
I just checked the last few answers to make sure nothing was up, and then I said, "Oh, look at that."
He's always been a smart kid.
Well, I figured, why would he be saying something like this that he's never said before?
True. All right. So last Friday was the anniversary of the urgency comment by Brian Gutekunst. We spent the whole show on it, and my irritation last Friday was, okay, they've shown no urgency in terms of Matt LaFleur's extension. The next day, boom, announced Matt LaFleur extended. Excuse me. Then Matt LaFleur's extension comes Saturday. It's been 6 days now. It's Friday. And we have and I said this on Wednesday, we have no choices made by Matt LaFleur in terms of his staff. Right? Jeff Hafley made the choice to go to Miami. That was not Matt LaFleur's choice. Jeff Hafley made the choice to go to Miami. Otherwise, as far as we are aware/concerned, everybody else is still employed. That's from Bisaccia and Stenavich down, right? No position changes, no coordinator changes made by choice by Matt LaFleur. And to me, that lacks urgency. It was Rob Domofsky who on Monday joined Jen, Gabe, and Chewy and said there will be staff changes. But now you are 2 weeks behind every other wildcard team and 3 weeks behind every other non-playoff team in terms of making those decisions. The Chargers were eliminated the day after the Packers and made changes at both offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator and seemingly have plans there. Right? And Jesse Minter obviously is leaving. That's similar to Hafley, but he has to replace that. And my irritation, my frustration comes in where, okay, I don't think running it back shows the urgency. You want to maintain consistent and you want continuity at the head coaching position. I can get down with that as a fan. Right? I can understand where the Packers are coming from, where they go, hey, Matt LaFleur has done so good for us. Let's remain with the continuity, the consistency for our quarterback, for the youngest team in the NFL. Let's keep the head guy the head guy. But then there needs to be a level of, hey, we think we're good enough. But there's been some clear issues on special teams. I need fresh ideas as the play caller in the offensive room, right? Whether that's coordinator or offensive line coach. I'm not necessarily advocating for Adam Stenavich to be fired. I'm advocating for somebody to be made or a change to be made somewhere. And I don't think that's too much to ask. So that's my irritation this week. Josh is laughing hysterically, which worries me.
What you just did there of I'm not advocating for someone to be fired and then say, but just someone be fired. I don't know if your representation of I'm not rooting for someone to lose. Yes, you are. You're rooting for someone to lose.
Not necessarily, though, Josh, because I talked about this on Tuesday's KBN.
Well, then continuity should be fine if you're not rooting for it.
But hold on. You called it the dumbest analogy you've ever heard.
Yeah, awful.
And I'm just going to give the quick synopsis of it so I can catch everybody up that may have missed it. It's what I called the baby bird theory. Right, so Matt LaFleur is the play caller offensively. He's been feeding, if you will, and like a mother bird does the baby bird, Adam Stenavich, right? He's been bringing him up. He's internally promoted him, but he's not the play caller. He's made him look good because they've had good offenses since Stenavich has been the offensive coordinator. I think now is the time that the mother bird should push the baby bird out of the nest effectively, right? Say to Stenavich, hey, go get a play calling job, whether that's in Tennessee or in Miami. And last year, obviously, he was in the running in Seattle. And that was the analogy I gave. And Josh had a ton of issues with that analogy. But rather than making Stenavich look bad or make LaFleur look like the bad guy, which sometimes you need to look like, but we know how loyal he is. And we've talked about how loyalty is a big fault of his in terms of his assistant coaches. I think it would be beneficial for LaFleur to have the tough conversation for Stenavich and say, hey, go find work. Go find somewhere to be a play caller. That way I can get fresh ideas in the building here. You can have the opportunity to further your career. He's not an offensive coordinator just to be an offensive coordinator. He's an offensive coordinator that has aspirations eventually of being a head coach. And you're going to need to be a play caller in order to do that. That's never going to happen in Green Bay as long as Matt LaFleur's here. And if Matt LaFleur's not here, you're not here either. So
part of the reason it's a bad analogy is because what you're describing is a common practice. We literally just saw the Kansas City Chiefs do the exact same thing with Matt Nagy.
Right.
Matt Nagy was taking all these job interviews. Suddenly, he was no longer in the running for any. And then today, you see, Matt Nagy has been relieved of his duties as the offensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs. I think what you're describing is probably something that reflects well when you're looking to hire people throughout the course of your head coach tenure. I'm going to give ample opportunity for this person to seek outside employment before we decide to step away from them. Stenavich has been mentioned in both Tennessee and Miami. Neither of those would necessarily be shocking. I don't know the Tennessee connection, but the Miami one is quite obvious. Jeff Hafley and John Eric Sullivan are trying to build Green Bay's health.
Yeah,
they're trying.
Malik Willis might be their quarterback.
Yeah. So. I don't think it would be bad process to go, we're really going to go after Malik Willis to bring him down here. So why not bring Adam Stenavich? I mean, Jeff Hafley said, I got to know Malik Willis extremely well because he was scout team quarterback. And it certainly seems like it's trending that way. And a good way to help a guy who had a, reinvention of his career would bring one of the OCs that he was working directly with. Now, I don't know the degree of what Adam Stenavich does, but if his job is to emulate to his best ability Matt LaFleur, because that's what Miami wants, it makes sense. So I understand why Matt LaFleur is doing it. The real problem here is I think most people want to see Rich Bisaccia fired. And if you listen to the way every single person who's in the know about Green Bay talks about Rich Bisaccia, is he ain't going nowhere. And
that I've accepted at this point, which it is what it is, I guess.
I think more than the special teams critiques and more than, he's an essential part of the culture, I'd say is the culture that Matt LaFleur and the Green Bay Packers currently have worth keeping and maintaining, or is it probably time to set a new culture? But a part that doesn't ever seem to get brought up is his assistant head coach and how he seems to be the guy Matt LaFleur leans on late in games, when Matt LaFleur had one of the worst all-time late game regular seasons and postseasons for a head coach. Yeah. He's setting historic numbers of choke jobs and comebacks that they allowed. And that, to me, would be reason enough to say, hey, we need something else here.
Yeah. I don't necessarily disagree with that. But the Packers made their choice in terms of the head coach.
Yes.
But now I view it as simple as this, right? The NFL is full of scapegoating. It's just the business, man. If it's not good enough, somebody's got to. You've got to make a change.
Look at what Buffalo did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Brandon Beane lied through his teeth and scapegoated McDermott to keep his job and get a promotion.
And get a promotion, which still is the most insane thing about me. Just some quick cleanup, Joshy. The connection to Robert Saleh and Adam Stenavich you asked about. Stenavich was the assistant offensive line coach for 2 years in San Francisco when Saleh was the defensive coordinator. 17 and 18 before Stenavich was hired by LaFleur in Green Bay as the offensive line coach. So they worked together for 2 years in San Francisco. That's that connection.
Makes sense.
Makes plenty of sense. I figured they must have crossed over somewhere, but also we know Saleh was in the building last year. He was the assistant offensive line coach in San Francisco.
Wow.
Before being hired as Green Bay's offensive line coach.
That's way down the totem pole of guys in the building.
Obviously, they worked together last year.
Right.
When Robert Saleh was fired by the Jets, he came to Green Bay and was working with the offense.
Is it last year or 2 years ago?
Last year.
Because the NFL season's still going on, technically?
Yes, that would be why I'm saying that. Yes, 2 years ago for the Packers, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
And the Jets, but and Aaron Rodgers, but yes, the 2024 NFL season is what I'm referring to. So, so that's that connection. And you were absolutely right. It could just be the common practice of, hey, we are trying to allow you the opportunity to get another job before parting ways, and it's just taking slow. It's taking more of a long time because both of the openings that Stenavich might interview for, or probably will interview for, are teams that just hired a head coach this week. The coaching carousel doesn't stop for a couple weeks, but I would imagine by the time we're at the Super Bowl, which is 2 weeks from Sunday, we should probably have answers across the board of what's happening in Green Bay.
The interesting wrinkle here is on Wilde and Tausch, Hunter, who was producing that program today, I believe Rob Domofsky said he was told that Jim Leonard can't interview in the bye week between the Super Bowl if Denver advances. Now, if they lose, he's able to be interviewed Monday.
That's
but Rob also said he couldn't prove that and didn't know that for sure.
Yeah, this has been a weird thing, and I was very concerned then on the fact that Rob couldn't find everything on it, because some of the stuff I had heard even and read was that, like, if you interviewed someone, the team that has a bye week in the playoffs, if you interview them during that first round bye week for their first interview, you could interview them then for a second interview if they make it to the Super Bowl during that bye week. But if it's a first interview, you can't. It's very weird. The NFL, like, hides that for some reason when it comes to, like, who you can and can't interview at certain times. So I have no idea. We may not get a Jim Leonard interview because of that, and just might.
I thought the other interesting thing that came out of that was Rob basically saying no DC is going to be hired until the Packers talk to Jim Leonard, which sounds a lot like we want Jim Leonard to be our defensive coordinator, and we're just going to sit on our hands until we can. Not sit on our hands, because obviously
I don't think that's the right word.
They're interviewing people, but we're not going to make any decisions until that happens, which leads me to believe that Matt LaFleur or the Green Bay Brass has talked at very least to his agent, most likely him as well.
Yeah.
So
and he expressed interest in that position.
The thing that is interesting then with that too is the fact that, like, I talked on this show earlier this week about how the Cowboys were very interested in him and they loved him. The stuff I saw about them getting Christian Parks was that they viewed it as a 1A 1B situation, and they didn't want to lose out on their 1B because they're waiting for Jim Leonard. So that could be the thing the Packers also run into, is that they sit here and they sit here and they sit here. All of a sudden, they interview Jim Leonard, he takes a different job, and then you're left with Jonathan Gannon.
Also, not to get conspiratorial here or anything,
boy,
but it also could be indication of, as we know within NFL circles, those guys know everything about each other. If the Cowboys got word of this, looks like the Packers are going to be hiring Jim Leonard because that's his first pick, then that's when you go, well, let's make sure, instead of getting into a bidding war for Jim Leonard, let's take this other guy we really like, who I thought would have been a great option for the Packers as well, with how highly regarded he is in league circles.
And that should be, to give Matt LaFleur some credit on at least the DC search, all the guys he's interviewing are getting plenty of looks, which is good, right? That means other people in the league. And Josh, I believe you have called the NFL coaching circles incestuous before.
Yes.
Like, if other guys that have highly touted jobs like Matt LaFleur does are seriously considering Christian Parker, who ultimately winds up in Minnesota, that's good. You see Al Harris getting a bunch of interviews, in Dallas. You see, I'm all thrown off by all the
Al Harris
backgrounds.
got one in Washington.
He got one in Washington. He got one in Green Bay, and I think he has a third. I thought I saw today.
I think it's just those two.
Got it. I'll take your word on it. Regardless, like, these are guys that are getting a ton of looks. Jonathan Gannon, I don't know though. The only one I've heard is Green Bay, which is intriguing to me.
I think that tells you all you need to know about Jonathan Gannon.
Phew. He's been. I have it on good regard.
Good authority.
I have it on good authority that Jonathan Gannon spent 2 days in Green Bay.
Would it be the tweet that said as much?
I didn't know that. I didn't know there was a tweet. I thought I had new information.
That's good, though. It says no other team is interested in hiring him as a defensive coordinator. He's got nowhere to be.
Well, that
he's your safety net.
Probably. I mean, I think LaFleur is going to interview more guys than he did when Joe Barry was hired, and that was 10 guys. I think this is going to be his deepest dive in terms of DC coordinators. Now, Jimmy Leonard should get a serious look, because allegedly he was at least discussing contract figures, if not offered the job, back when Joe Barry was hired. So obviously I think he's going to be a really interesting candidate for Green Bay, but we will see. So there was a tweet. I thought I was breaking some news there.
Nope. I knew it, so
you do have it on good authority, because everyone else already knew it.
Apparently I do.
Oh, speaking of former defensive coordinators for the Green Bay Packers, did you happen to see Mike Patton, when asked about Brian Flores.
They do not see eye to eye.
I'm going to take the high road here, he said. Goodness gracious.
Yeah. So, Mike Patton, did I see you retired?
Gannon was interviewed by the Cowboys, Commanders, and Packers, by the way.
Got it. Okay, so multiple.
Patton retired, yes. And he was working with the offense in Minnesota last year.
And he had thoughts on Brian. So is that guy just a jerk? Because his players didn't like him in Miami, Flores.
Well, yeah, he's an ass.
I'm pretty sure he officially retired 2 days ago and then said that, what was that, this morning?
This morning,
yeah.
He wasted no time.
Well, he was asked, to be fair.
Yeah.
And I believe it was a Cleveland show he was on, and they asked him about Brian Flores, and then he was like, I'm just not going to say anything, which is hilarious because he didn't even lie. Why would he lie? He's retired now.
Right? Unreal. Over at ESPN.com, I thought this was interesting in terms of defense coordinator. Benjamin Solak, who does a terrific job for ESPN, and Jeremy Fowler, they ranked the top 4 remaining openings at every level, so head coach, offensive coordinator, and defensive coordinator. And they view the Packers as the best defensive coordinator opening in terms of what remains in the league. So Wyatt's number 1, coaching, this is from Solak, coaching edge rusher Micah Parsons sure sounds pretty cool. Other young secured talent such as Edgerrin Cooper, Xavier McKinney, and Evan Williams offer a great base from which a clever defensive coach could scheme up a successful unit. And I agree. Those 4 names are awesome. Joshy, does anybody else excite you about this defense right now other than those 4 names? That's why this offseason is so intriguing to me. Because Micah Parsons, Edgerrin Cooper, Xavier McKinney, Evan Williams, yes, all exciting pieces. I can think of maybe 1 or 2 more names that excite me, and that's probably it.
I'm interested to see what LVN looks like with another year.
Yeah, he wasn't on my list.
His best year. Baron Sorrell, I think, is going to be a good passer.
You think 99 will shine?
I think 99. I think 99 did shine when he had the opportunity.
In the Minnesota game,
yes.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's a name, but those are all me projecting. I think Tyron Hopper's interesting.
Agreed.
Because he was given a relatively high draft capital at a time that was sort of confusing. We're all looking around and going, "What? Why would you make that pick so soon after?"
Was he a 2nd or 3rd round pick? I know it was day 2.
I think it was a 3rd round pick.
So him and Marshawn Lloyd were the 3rd round picks.
Yes, and it was the same day they drafted Edgerrin Cooper.
Correct. Yeah, he was the 2nd round pick.
We were sitting in this room together when it happened. Yeah,
we sure.
Which I thought he looked at times in preseason. He looked quite effective. And I didn't really notice big issues when he was asked to play in short spurts during the season.
Yeah.
So that's interesting to me. But past that, I think, I don't know, but I thought Devontae Wyatt was also playing his best football. And I think
he was on my list.
I think the way the defense collapsed without him was pretty evident that he was playing pretty well.
Yeah, the 2 names on my list were Devontae Wyatt, who only has the 5th-year option left, so after next season they're going to have to make a decision on him, and Javon Bullard. I'm still very intrigued by him. Now, cornerback is a position they're going to have to reinvent, and I know he's only the nickel corner, and he's obviously a safety by day. But I still think there's quite a lot of tread left on the tires in terms of things I want to see out of Javon Bullard and see what he's capable of. So that's the other name that was on my list. But look, they're going to have to reinvent the cornerback position this offseason, one way or another, without a 1st-round pick, and. I still think, and Josh, I think you're with me on this, I still think Carrington Valentine can be a successful NFL cornerback. I do.
As long as he learns how to tackle.
Right. And that's obviously something I have no doubt. If he is to emphasize one part of his game this offseason, that will be it.
It'll probably be getting bigger.
Right, getting stronger.
Because when we had him for the draft, and being in that close proximity that we both were to him, I was like, "Gosh, this guy is tiny."
Not a big guy. He's quick though.
Yeah.
And he's got.
I think he's a very good cover corner.
Correct. The tackling is where the issue comes in. And towards the end of the season, man,
it seemingly got increasingly worse.
Well, Derrick Henry.
Yeah. Well, but also the plays on the screens where he would be in the right position and the guy would just run right through him. It was like DJ Moore, not like he's a monster guy that's that much stronger than you.
Yep.
You just aren't good at tackling.
Yeah.
Because they all throw that damn shoulder for whatever reason. I hate that. Keyshawn Nixon's a classic for that. When he's not jumping out of the way at the goal line.
All right, so hold on. It's 1:00. Are we just accepting Brad Nortman forgot about the show?
Yeah.
Nobody text him.
I did already.
What'd you say?
I said, Hey, Brad, I think Strouf forgot to text you, but are you in for Irrelevant today?
And no response?
No response. That was like 5 minutes ago.
All right, so I texted Benny Brust, and I said, don't tell him, but I think this could be a good place to start the show today. I feel let down.
Should I text him and say never mind?
For a guy I often
Should I edit it?
For a guy I often call my best friend on the air. This is a hurtful one.
Fake friend.
Yeah, I think there's a rift in the relationship. That's all right. We'll
I had a
survive
good
it.
stat, too, for the lower third for him today.
Well, you can still tell us what it is.
Okay.
Yeah. Here, you
I'll
want me
put
to
it
read
up here.
Brad Nortman?
Yeah. Our stat this week was he had the most blocked punts in the NFL in 2014
No
with
wonder
2.
he didn't show up. No wonder he didn't show up.
That's a hatchet job.
Okay, I was positive the last 2 times. I'm going to have some fun with him the third time. I gave him the Champ
The
Sports
best part
Bowl.
is he would never even see that unless we
Yeah.
said it out loud.
Brad just answered me. He said, I'm out of town, actually, off KBN, too. So I think this is Strouf's fault now for not knowing where his host is.
Yeah.
Hold on. Now I got to check something.
Well, you're going to check the schedule to see if he's on it or not? Because
No, not even that.
Oh, wow.
No, I don't really look at your schedule. No offense. Show
Because
sheet.
I look at your schedule.
He was a late ad is out because he sent me after it already sent that he was not going to be here.
What's the date today? 23rd. Oh no, Brad. It does say that.
Yep.
Okay.
Are we just going to sit here in silence and
I'm just rifling off
think
the text.
about it?
Yeah, well, no, this reflects poorly on me. Actually, is what this all comes back to.
What, the producer
Yeah.
didn't know one of the hosts wasn't on the program?
I knew Ben was off next week. I didn't know Brad was off this week. All right. Well, that's good. So we could just skip the Brad Nortman part of the show today. Championship weekend. Joshy, real quick throwaway at the end of Jen, Gabe, and Chewy today. What?
We're going to ignore the part.
Listening to you trying to figure out what we're going to do without Brad now?
No, we're just going to skip the Brad part.
I wanted him
His
to
time's
just-
already been utilized.
I really was just going to sit there and let him flounder until his brain figured out what to do.
Dr. Denver Dan chimes in. Topic for another time. Will, how is dating life when you have to tell girls you produce a show called Irrelevant?
You'd have to talk to girls first in order to say that. So
Also,
I can't answer that.
I'm not telling people titles like when I meet somebody and they ask, "Oh, what do you do for work?"
Yeah, I work at
produce-
ESPN Milwaukee.
Yeah, I work at ESPN Milwaukee. I host and produce
I host
programs throughout the course of the week.
I host the Will Summers show.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're lying now.
Well, if I ever
Or is
talk
that
to
just
a
what
girl.
we title your life?
Yeah, basically like my
Yeah.
life.
It's the it's,
Your host, producer.
I was going to say, I lead with the hosting our Prep Mania coverage, and then Badger Volleyball, and then Irrelevance third.
so you get that deep.
Yeah,
I mean, no, it's just like as I'm talking to
Did you
somebody.
just burp in the middle of that? Did you guys hear that?
No?
I think that was the moving of the microphone.
I thought you all have significant others. What kind of girls are you talking about?
Well,
I
like,
think we're just talking about people in general.
yeah, like on Wednesday, I
When you
went
go
to
out
the
and
Bucks
meet
game,
people.
and I was there with someone from Visit Milwaukee. He asked what I do, so I was talking to him, and Mr. Irrelevant was third as he was asking follow-ups of what I do for
So you don't care
ESPN
about
Madison.
Let's be clear.
No,
here
it's just
also.
people are going to find the hosting high school sports, doing play-by-play, producing for Badger Volleyball, a championship program. Like, those
They're
two
gonna find
things are
out
more
what, Hunter?
interesting.
Go ahead, finish the sentence.
They're more interesting than this show. You can't deny that.
I can deny that.
Interesting.
No.
I can most definitely deny that.
No.
With two rock stars on the program.
Yeah.
What, Josh and
You
Will?
know what? He's calling high school hockey.
You said it, not me. Hey, what I usually say is, people say, "What do you do?" I just go, "Please."
I have
Let's not talk about me, baby. Let's
I
talk
have a
about you.
habit of I'm still getting phone numbers, but the thing is, they're all dudes.
This is true.
You meet a guy and you're like, "That was a great time we had here at this bar."
Let's connect sometime. And then
You never talk. To
never
that
talk
guy
to him
again.
again.
This happened
I
to
do
me-
that often.
Oh yeah.
This happened to me over the weekend. I was in Chicago and I met a friend of a friend that lives like very close to me, and I got his number.
I usually just rifle off the "Hey, great to meet you" right away,
Yeah.
and then never text again.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
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 All right. Well, that was a good derailment. I heard you have a little throwaway at the end of Jen, Gabe, and Chewy this morning, and it was really Josh and Gabe this morning.
Yep.
You are Team Stiddy this weekend.
I am. It's not particularly because I believe in Jarrett Stidham or I have any evidence to believe in Jarrett Stidham. It's more the fact that any other quarterback in the NFL, any other quarterback in the playoffs wins that game against the Texans Patriots over the weekend. I think the youth and subpar talent level of the New England Patriots is starting to come to roost here in the playoffs. And I think that it's going to be an ugly, horrific game that nobody wants to watch. But I think the Broncos, as a pretty decent underdog, are going to do enough to get into the Super Bowl, and then we're going to have an unwatchable Super Bowl. It's going to be 1 versus 1 seed, and the Seahawks are just going to stomp all over the Broncos.
Okay.
I'm a Drake May guy. I have been since even before the start of the draft. I think he's immensely talented. It just seems like this is a big moment in that team was still picked, even with people thinking Drake May was going to take a step forward, to be like the worst in the AFC East.
Yeah.
It was them or the Jets, and it was going to be like, what is this, a 4-win team?
No, it's an incredible turnaround,
right.
and probably, they were overly successful for what year one under Mike Vrabel should have had. But
immensely. Like they what was their win total before the season? It had to be like 6.5.
Oh yeah, it was they probably doubled it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably right about that. I am I don't know. I don't feel that way.
Just think of the Patriots.
I think you need one Drake May Superman game, and this is probably it.
And I don't know if he's ready for that. And that's where it's coming from.
But Stiddy's not ready for that.
Yeah, I don't think Stiddy's going to be asked to be Superman.
So R.J. Harvey is?
R.J. Harvey, Cortland Sutton, it's Sean Payton. I imagine he's going to figure out some way to get it done. The thing is,
I just hate Sean Payton, man.
Okay, let's take. I do too. I think he's the worst guy ever, and he's absolutely annoying. Let's take let's take both those rosters.
Yep.
Mash them together.
Yep.
Aside from Drake May, how many Patriots are you putting in the top 10?
Both sides of the ball?
Yes.
I think there's
Christian Gonzalez.
Yep, that's one.
one of the interior D linemen. Maybe.
Sure.
Maybe.
And that's probably it.
The Broncos' offensive line is
So good.
significantly better than the
So good.
Patriots.
Yeah, it just seems like the talent disparity is so wide there that the only thing closing the gap is Drake May being incredible and Jarrett Stidham being a bad backup. Because I think even mediocre backup quarterback play probably can get it done.
I just don't want to watch Jarrett Stidham in the Super Bowl.
I
Hey,
do.
you get stinkers every so often.
Stud him.
Yeah, what was the last dud? It was Rams Patriots, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
and
that
then the one
Chiefs
before that.
I mean,
Buccaneers.
last year was a blowout.
Yeah.
Last year was a blowout.
Yeah, and
I
then
forgot already what happened
Eagles
last year.
smoked the Chiefs.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, and then even
I
that
also-
other Chiefs one when Mahomes was running for his life against Tampa. That one
Yeah.
was gross.
Yeah.
By the way, NFL.com, the Patriots preseason win projection 8.8. They said their ceiling was 10.4, their floor being 6.8. And then they ended it with if Drake May can take a second year leap. ...
Yeah. He did.
He sure did.
And then some.
And then some, yeah. They
Real
busted
quick
that ceiling.
tangent here. Josh, who do you hate more, Doug Gottlieb or Sean Payton?
Good question.
Probably Doug Gottlieb because I have to hear about him more and see him more. Sean Payton, it's just you see him being an absolute Richard to some random reporter for absolutely no reason. And it's just he acts like he's Vince Lombardi with the same resume as Mike McCarthy.
I just want to point out one thing. I have not mentioned his name at all this week.
I'm not even saying just you.
Okay.
I'm saying like Twitter. I have to see it on the news.
Okay,
I
I'm
see
sorry.
it.
I'm just so used to you being my biggest hater that was a sub.
I was
verbal version of a subtweet.
I was doing entertainment when I blamed you solely for it, but it's much more than you.
Okay, great. Other game, you have Seattle. You think they're that good?
I do, and I've been Rams are the best team all season long guy. I'm still standing on that. I just don't think they've looked that good.
So you and I view this week reverse.
Well,
I think it's New England and the Rams.
Well, my Broncos pick is just the fact that I think the Patriots should win the game. I just don't think they will. And the Rams to me is maybe I'm betraying myself in the opinion I had all along, which I've done before in the past and been like, yeah, this is the best team. They're going to the Super Bowl. It's just the way the Rams have played their games and they've been taken to their limits twice. The Seahawks got a bye and then coasted for the second half against the Niners. And I think that sort of mental taxing and that physical taxing is going to wear on the Rams. Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, I obviously think Sean McVay's great. I think Matthew Stafford is fine. I don't think he should be the MVP despite him actually probably going to win.
Yeah, I hate that it's a lifetime legacy award this year when Drake May was roughly better than him. I mean, it was a close race.
You watched the media launch a brand new campaign for strength of schedule for MVP, which had never existed in the conversation before.
Bingo. Bingo.
But then when you actually drilled down to it and looked at, how are the passing defenses these two face? And it was like, almost exactly the same level. Isn't that interesting? You just made up something because you wanted to give Matthew Stafford the award, which fine, whatever. But approaching it like, Drake May's going to win one in the future. Says who?
Yeah, that's true.
His career could end on Sunday.
Well, come on, man. Knock on wood, please. We don't want that. But you're right. I hate that argument. I'm right there with you. Though I view this weekend differently. I think both road teams win. Now, obviously, home field advantage matters a heck of a lot in championship weekend because those fans are going to be awfully ruckus. But
I mean, those are two top 5 places you don't want to play, especially in the playoffs.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt.
Yeah,
Lambeau's got to be one of them. I would argue Soldier Field's one of them. I mean, did you hear that crowd last week? Will did a good job. I'll give it to him.
The one that's the most obvious one is Chiefs.
Arrowhead, yeah.
That to me is up there.
Foxborough?
Probably, maybe. I don't know if Lambeau is one. The Packers lose the games they host.
That's true. That's true.
And it's not like Soldier Field has some long, storied history or recent history, I should say.
Yeah.
I was going to say, it definitely has history. I think they hosted an Olympics.
Yeah, it's just when was your parents hadn't met when the last time they had meaningful playoff games. That's not true because they also made a Super Bowl and lost.
Yeah.
Those awful.
They were divorced by that point.
Those awful all orange jerseys that they wore that season.
I hate that.
That's so ugly.
Okay, let's get through 2 pieces of Wisconsin sports news. We'll get to what we missed, and we have a couple things I want to hit there. So we've got a lot to cover in the next 17 minutes. Let's jump to Giannis. I'm wearing my Bucks pullover today because here's where we're at with Giannis Antetokounmpo. It's starting to feel like the end of Giannis in Milwaukee. We are 13 days from the NBA trade deadline, and Giannis is making a concerted effort to make it as awkward as possible. He's throwing his teammates under the bus. He is saying things like, well, I don't know if I'll be in Milwaukee the rest of the season. We'll see. I'm a day-by-day guy. And while, yes, he is making it awkward, and these are abnormal things for Giannis to say, I think this is him just trying to make it awkward without saying the quiet part out loud, right? And that's something we've talked plenty about with the Giannis situation is he needs to explicitly ask for a trade before John Horst does anything. And frankly, I don't think any of us are believers that Giannis will come out in the next 13 days and say, I want out. I just don't think he's going to. I stand firm on what I've said all along, which is I do not believe Giannis will be traded in season. But I think this gets to the point now of, all right, get through this season with Giannis. And in this offseason, John Horst better go, man. He's got to upgrade the pieces around him. He's got to get some veteran presence on the team and hopefully a new number 2. And then if he can get through some of the offseason to the point where he can offer a contract extension, that's when things will get interesting. But I don't believe Giannis will be traded by the trade deadline, which is 13 days from today. It's Thursday, I believe that's the 12th, or maybe the week before, Thursday the 5th.
The 5th is the deadline.
Yeah. Whatever 13 days from today is. I'm not a math guy. Regardless, I still stand for I just don't see how John Horst effectively accepts his demise as general manager in season by moving Giannis. And B, I just don't see Giannis, despite saying earlier this week he's fine being the villain after he booed fans back, or whatever that was last week or 2 weeks ago. I don't see him actually truly being the villain and explicitly asking for a trade. And I don't believe the Bucks would move him until that point happens. I just don't. And as bad as this product has been for Milwaukee, it's been a rough season, man. Hunter had to sit through that thing on Wednesday. Big rivalry game against the Thunder. It's been a tough watch. I don't see it happening. Joshy, you've been kind of on the opposite side of me this entire saga, which feels like it's been going on for a year now. Where do you land on the trade deadline 13 days away? Do you think Giannis is a Buck when that comes?
Yeah, the thing I've been trying to harp on, and maybe I haven't done a good enough job, was up until recently, people were still denying the fact that Giannis wanted out of Milwaukee. I think we have fully, almost universally as a fan base, accepted that it's pretty obvious he doesn't want to be here any longer. I think the only thing holding him back from that is he doesn't want to request the trade. He doesn't want to be the one to make the mess.
I'd push back on that a bit. I don't think he wants to be in this current situation in terms of
you realize the semantical argument you're making to make it feel better, because if you don't want to be in the situation, you don't want to be here.
Josh is the best.
They are one and the same. They are. There is no difference.
If I ever argue semantics on this show, you will know 4 seconds after I do it.
I mean, that wasn't that was as good as just saying nothing. What you said there. There was no difference in what you said. It just felt
right.
nicer.
But what I mean by that, just to maybe actually give it some substance, is I'm still not fully bought into the idea that Giannis believes or doesn't believe that things could get better next season. Now he is understanding of, number one, he wants to win a second championship, but B, two, that there could be a change this offseason where he goes, okay, similarly to the Damian Lillard move, which obviously didn't work out.
I think he's smart enough to recognize that what they did with waiving and stretching Damian Lillard,
they're running out of moves,
and then signing Miles Turner without the assets and draft picks.
They've had 3 coaches the past 3 years.
Right. Like, how much more could you do at this point? They've pulled seemingly the rabbit out of their hat. But are we sure he even wanted Miles Turner in Milwaukee? Is that something like? Is that something?
I don't know.
We
I don't remember.
Really weighed on him or really made his opinion of?
I'm sure he was in on the conversation. They don't just do that without consulting him.
Perhaps. I mean, he always tells us, "I'm just a player," and I think you can believe that to a degree. But I think the big difference here is I don't think he's wanted to be here all year. I think he's seen the writing on the wall. I don't think he believes in Doc. I don't think he believes in the roster that they've constructed.
I'm not disagreeing with any of that, but I don't know that you ever explicitly answer my question. Is Giannis traded before the trade deadline?
I don't think so, because I don't think Giannis has the cojones to say trade me.
Correct.
And the Bucks have absolutely zero reason to trade Giannis.
Zero.
There's absolutely none. I think what's going to happen, and Gabe Neitzel said this a bunch, is they're going to offer him the Supermax extension October 1. He's going to decline it, and then from there, the decision.
So you think we'll get to next season before any talks of a trade?
Yes, or they have serious conversations in the offseason and say, hey, we're going to offer you this. Are you going to accept it, or do we need to start making arrangements to trade you?
Sure.
That's probably how it goes, because you can have those conversations. There's no, it's just when you sign them or not. So to me, that's the most likely outcome. I think Giannis is doing his best to try and force the Bucks' hand.
That's why I keep bringing it up. He's just going to do whatever he can to make it super awkward and uncomfortable these 2 weeks.
But I think the Bucks just grin and bear it and say,
as they should. And that is the correct choice by them.
I think in terms of return and assets and bidding war and fully opening up for services, yes. Yeah. I honestly think that the Milwaukee Bucks are sort of outplaying Giannis in this whole thing. I think both of them know the inevitability of the divorce. I think they are letting him sort of sully the waters and not. I mean, he hasn't had a good audio clip in weeks. You hear him speak, and every time it's like.
Let me rephrase for you. He has had many good audio clips. None positive.
Right. And like the whole like going after teammates and all that stuff, like he's been critical of the team, but it seems now it's more just demonstrative than ever.
Yeah.
And I don't think that isn't calculated by Giannis. And I think the Packers, the Bucks just sitting back and letting it happen and saying, nope, we're refusing all calls. Anybody calls on Giannis, we are hanging up the phone. We're not taking it, because I think the Bucks want to make it also clear that even if we do end up trading him, this isn't because we didn't want Giannis anymore. This is because Giannis made us trade him.
Yep. I think
even if he came out with the story or the newspaper article like Myles Garrett saying I've requested a trade.
Oh, that was so good.
I don't know if Giannis is ever going to get to that point. I don't think he's willing to do it.
He won't. I'm with you on that.
I think
we're closer on the situation than we've ever been.
Yeah, because now you finally actually agree he's going to get traded.
No, I never said that.
Eventually.
I think the probability of it is the highest it's been. But I don't think it. I honestly am not sold it will ever happen. It depends what this offseason looks like for Horst. When we get to the 4th of July, we'll circle back, and if things aren't happening for Milwaukee,
I mean, you can't believe he's going to sign that Supermax.
It's not going to get any better.
I don't think it's likely. I'm with you.
Yeah.
At least at this point. But it's only January 23rd.
It's closer to 0 than it is 10%.
Agree.
Ooh. I don't know about that. I think it's closer to 0 than it is 50.
Well, of course.
But I think it's higher than 10%. Okay. Well, we're all out on it. All right. Quickly want to get to Freddie Peralta being traded. Will, I thought you were the best on this, man.
I think it's very interesting because when you look at the two guys you got, Jed Williams and the pitcher, Brandon Sproat, they're both very good prospects, right? Like, two of the Mets have a very good farm system. They're two of the top 5 prospects. And I just don't understand, because the Brewers last year made the NLCS, which is something they hadn't done since, 2018. It's the closest you can get to getting to a World Series. They've never won a World Series. And you're running back the exact same team, if not better, with Garrett Mitchell coming back and Woody being healthy for the whole year. And you just trade Freddie Peralta. Like, I understand that Freddie Peralta was the highest valued pitcher on the trade market because he had 1 year left on his deal. He was getting paid $8 million. Like, any contender is chomping at the bit for him. But, I mean, Mark Ananasio said it. He's not responsible for winning championships, because if they wanted to win a championship, they truly would have kept him. Because Gabe Neitzel said it very well, too, the way he correctly articulated his take about the Bucks, too. They're going to be worse in 2026 without him. Like, they're running back the exact same team just without Freddie Peralta and two guys who are unproven.
Now, granted, we said that about Willy Adames, too. We did. When Willy Adames left in free agency last year for San Francisco, we said they're pretty much running back the same team and they're going to be worse, and they won 97 games. I'm not saying that justifies this being the correct move. I'm just saying we did say this last year.
They were worse at shortstop.
Think about if they did have Willie. All those times in the NLCS when we had to be like, oh, here comes Joey.
They might have won 100 games that day, Willie. Yeah.
With the way WAR works, like that would equal out to about 2 or 2.5 games, but. It's just indicative of what the Brewers are about. They don't care about winning championships and being good. Or being great. They just want to be good.
Yes.
They just want to be average. They want to be above 500, 82 to 86 wins. That's all they care about.
My biggest gripe with this, as it's been for a long time with the Milwaukee Brewers, is the veil that the Brewers ownership has pulled over the fan base's eyes of, we cannot pay more players.
Yep.
Because it's unfair. The Brewers certainly could pay more people. They could sign more $100 million contracts. They just elect not to. I don't think there's anybody who knows a thing about professional sports that thinks Mark Atanasio isn't making money hand over fist yearly on the Milwaukee Brewers.
Absolutely.
Do they have the ability to spend like the Dodgers, the Mets, or the Yankees? Absolutely not. Not even close. Mm-hmm. Could their payroll be $75 million higher on a year-to-year basis and then net out pretty well over the course of those years? I absolutely assure you of that. And that, to me, is what really bothers me the most is the, I was going to say bootlicking, but I'll say water carrying for a billionaire who is not doing his best to win a World Series. He is trying to make money. That is the stated goal. He would love to win. I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
Will he do what it takes to win? I don't think so. I don't think the Dodgers, as good as they've gotten this offseason and were last year, are some unbeatable force. They haven't won every World Series since this TV deal that they got that gives them like an extra $60 million because they rushed through a divorce proceedings with the previous owners that then gave them a sweetheart deal. I don't think they're some unbeatable force. I do think they're far and away the best, and they probably are going to be the most often in the World Series from the NL over the course of the next 5-6 years. Yes. But we've seen them lose before.
We have.
They're going to lose again.
Hopefully.
And the Brewers consistently lessening their payroll while being as good as they are, to me, is frustrating. And I'm frankly, can we not just go in for all in for 3 years?
1 year.
1 year would be
like
great.
at the trade deadline last year. Why didn't we go all in?
Right. But what I'm saying is, if you do it for 3 years and you make an investment and you're close to breaking even, I think we'd all accept hey, you gave it your shot. You used assets. You went out and did it. You tried your best. Did you get there or not? No. But we could tell the franchise stated goal was to win a World Series. Either you do it or you don't. You fall short. And then when the salary decreases for the next 3 years and they're trying to figure it out, they're adding players to it. I think we'd all accept that.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think, Dr. Denver Dan's chiming in with, I love the business model. It has proven successful.
And I'm never going to say anything bad about the front office from below the owner. Matt Arnold does a remarkable job.
He's terrific.
It was a good trade.
Yes.
They really did win the trade.
Right. They got...
Long term, yes.
Yes, right. They got a good deal. And he's consistently done that throughout his career. He understands assets. They do a great job of building up pitchers. They do a great job of building up hitters. But again, all that's great.
And I don't think that's the frustration of Brewers fans. And it seems like we're all on the same page.
Right.
And Twitter tells me otherwise because I am just getting pooped on for saying I'm mad about it.
Well, it's because people are protecting their feelings.
Do people not realize the Mets are doing what the Brewers should be doing right now? Is trading your prospects for win-now guys?
Well, they've got the number one farm system in the league, baby.
Yeah.
Come on.
And guess who? The Mets didn't even make the playoffs last year, and the Brewers made the NLCS, and they're not doing anything to try to win a World Series.
They're getting worse. Mad City Bruce says, wait, Will is a Brewers fan. I don't know how to answer that question for you. I think the answer is yes, but they're not your number one team.
I want them to beat the Cubs every single game that they play them. Let's put it that way.
Will is a White Sox fan, and they're an AL
Brewers
team,
are my two team. They go hand in hand.
Yeah, I'll allow it.
Yeah.
They're different.
I've rooted for the White Sox in the past.
The White Sox are fun.
Well, less fun.
Yeah.
What'd they do this week?
They traded Luis Robert, but they just signed a closer.
Where'd they sign?
Pretty good.
Where'd they send Luis Robert
2
to?
years, $20 million, Josh. He's probably like the third highest paid player.
Well, I'm just curious. Where'd they send Luis Robert to?
To the Mets, a win-now team.
Yeah, exactly. All right, real quick. What we missed, what we learned. Will, is there any words? Otherwise, I'm going to give this segment over to Hunter.
Just send it to Hunter.
All right.
Josh crumbled a bunch, and then I got mad at Freddie Peralta. Or no, mad at Arnold.
How'd you crumble?
He crumpled a bunch of words together. He said some phrase.
All right, we're just gonna gonna skip it then. All right, Hunter. We're getting requests for this on YouTube. I don't know what's coming. The floor is yours.
Okay, I brought this up on Whoa Nelly during the end of Wildy and Tausch as I was producing that today. So I saw this morning that the television director for the New York Mets is stepping away from broadcasting. The reason why he became famous was because he is a huge film fan. So he started working in references to famous movie shots in the TV broadcast during the downtime between pitches. So if you look, I recommend if you're listening to this back on audio, to go to the YouTube to see some of these. This is on the left, a shot from Planet of the Apes, using the Statue of Liberty. He then put the Statue of Liberty into the shot over the stadium. He would do things with this fan's glasses, so the batter is in focus through the glasses as they're looking at it.
Oh, wow.
He would also then do things to reference spaghetti Western movies, so these were the old Clint Eastwood. So you have the pitcher and the batter, and they're faded into everything. This last one then, too, from one of the greatest movies ever made, Apocalypse Now, he recreated one of the famous shots from it with Juan Soto. Like, this is the stuff that then during downtime, he would work in these famous moments from movies that he loved to enhance what you're seeing visually. And Jesse and Tausch were a bunch of a-holes and laughed at me and said I was ridiculous. So that's what we missed, and I'm sad that he's leaving
Okay.
because we need more art like this, I think, in television broadcasts.
Art guy. Big art guy.
I'm a big film guy, and film is art, and I think that this is stuff that helps enhance these broadcasts and keeps people visually intrigued.
Hunter, calm down. We're not pushing back on you.
Where's he going?
He's taking his anger out on
what he's doing.
on
and
Jesse and Tausch
I
on
saw
us.
it happen. This guy's gone viral for the better part of the past 2 seasons.
Okay, so he got a job.
Yeah, well, I don't know, but he even does more subtle things that, like, the way scenes are cut and they move scene to scene. Like, they've had one where somebody was walking across a screen and then the shot adjusted
Hunter,
to, like, what was happening in play. But what he did is he realized, hey, I'm probably never going to be more popular, and I have a great way to cash in.
All right, so here you go. Mad City Bruce is so stupid. Sorry, Hunter. BZB3 says Hunter is on one today. Jamie from Orlando says dumb. So, okay. Will, thoughts?
I think it's cool, but I'm going to side with the chat here, dumb.
Oh, wow.
Wow, you
it's
are a
cool.
spineless coward, Will. You're going to just side with the chat.
Oh,
This is ridiculous. Heaven
Hunter,
forbid
if I
we watch a
watch Mets
3.5
games, I don't
hour baseball game and you actually are visually locked in when two guys are just standing there doing nothing.
but Hunter, you've never watched a Mets game.
Yeah, what am I watching? What am I going to tune on to Mets Marlins on a Tuesday night in the summer?
Or
good.
if this was
Good.
something that was talked about and celebrated more, the teams and their broadcast teams would do more things like this. So it'd be something that then, like, the Brewers would do or the White Sox would do.
Tone.
Yeah.
Awfully condescending
Because
tone.
just take 30 seconds to think about, like, what I'm trying to say here. Instead of just like, oh, okay, this is what Hunter's
I've
on.
been
He's
taking more
fired
than
up.
30
Okay, we'll just be dismissive of him. Okay, cool.
It's been 6 minutes.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I went on the record I was not dismissive.
No,
But
I
also know
appreciate
the
that,
audience
Josh.
of dopes we're working with here, specifically in this room and probably in the chat as well for some. Apocalypse Now, they couldn't even begin to tell you the premise of the movie, nor why it's so
wait.
famous.
I bet there was an apocalypse right
There
now.
wasn't.
Nope,
Oh.
not even
Moron.
close.
Well, in my defense, fair shot to take there, right?
Moron.
I referenced that one specifically because I knew for sure you would say what you said.
Well, you know me better than most. All right, that does it for us this week. That does it for us today. Hunter, good work on that. I enjoyed that. We will be back with you coming up on Monday, beginning at 12:30 Central, ESPN Milwaukee, ESPN Madison on YouTube. If you haven't already, please click that subscribe button, click the notification bell. You'll know when every single one of our shows goes live, including Sunday Karma, which I'll be back with you for on Sunday morning at 10 a.m. with Craig Karmas and Greg Scalzo and Kyle Wallace. And we're back with you at 12:30 Central on YouTube on Monday. Josh, the final word.
I'd shout out to Levi. Hunter's having a rough day, so let's not get on him too much.
I won't even say anything. I won't even say anything to him as we exit. I won't even say anything. Hunter, you did. I will say something. You did a great job today. We'll be back with you
Thank
Monday.
you.
We'll talk to you then. Peace.